Hey guys, it's me Ola, and in this video I'll be comparing the DTEK60 to the BlackBerry Priv, so you'll see which one's better for you. So as I said, I'll be comparing the two phones, so you see which one you might buy. So let's start with the outside of the devices or the handsets in general. I think both phones are very beautiful phones and they're very nicely made and look beautiful. But if you continue with the build quality, I have to give this point to the BlackBerry DTEK60 because build quality just is a tad better than the Priv. The Priv has a full plastic construction with a glass front, while the BlackBerry DTEK60 has glass on the front, glass on the back, as well as an aluminum frame surrounding the phone. So there's no plastic at all. And you can really feel it if you have the phone in hands. However, the backside of the BlackBerry Priv is a very nice, as they call, glass weave. It's very nice and soft to touch, and that makes the Priv much easier to hold because it doesn't slide around in your hand as much as the DTEK60 does because of its glass back. But of course, the BlackBerry Priv has the physical keyboard, which I will get into later in the video, but that is also a thing. It carries the traditional BlackBerry design language that the DTEK60 unfortunately doesn't have anymore, because BlackBerry doesn't design phones and builds phones in-house anymore and gives that part to outside vendors, like in this case Alcatel. So this is pretty much an Alcatel phone with a BlackBerry branding on the back. So yeah, if that might put you off, then the Priv is a better phone for you. So both phones have a 3.5-inch headphone jack. The Priv has it on the bottom, the DTEK60 has it on top. The Priv and the DTEK60 have volume up and volume down rockers. However, the Priv has a middle button between the volume rockers to play and pause videos, while the BlackBerry DTEK60 doesn't have it. However, it has a convenience key which lets you open any application you want or do any task. For example, turning off or turning the phone to standby or opening the BlackBerry Hub. And another thing to point out is that the BlackBerry Priv uses a micro USB port, while the BlackBerry DTEK60 uses a USB-C port. So the BlackBerry DTEK60 is kind of more in the future. However, I like the micro USB more. It depends on what you like and if you already live in the future. So let's continue with the displays. The BlackBerry Priv has a 5.4-inch Quad HD AMOLED display with a resolution of 2560 by 1440 pixels and a pixels per inch count of 540. The BlackBerry DTEK60 has a 5.5-inch display, so slightly bigger, also AMOLED and also Quad HD with a resolution of 2560 by 1440. However, it only has a pixels per inch count of 534. In real life usage, you don't really notice the difference in pixels per inch. Both phones are extremely sharp. However, I noticed that the colors on the DTEK60 just look a bit brighter and nicer in my opinion. The screen also appears brighter in certain situations, while the BlackBerry Priv is more on the warmer side and the colors aren't as much popping as they do on the BlackBerry DTEK60. Another thing to point out is that the BlackBerry Priv has a curved screen, so like the Galaxy S6 and S7 Edge or the now discontinued Note 7, while the DTEK60 only has a standard display, but it looks like it has a curved display because the glass is curved at the sides. However, they just included a standard screen. So let's continue with the processors in each phone. The BlackBerry Priv uses a Snapdragon 808 hexa-core processor with 3 GB of RAM, while the DTEK60 uses a Snapdragon 820 processor, which is one of the fastest currently on the market, with 4 GB of RAM. I downloaded Geekbench on both of the phones just to see what results each phone will have, and I was quite surprised with the results I got. The BlackBerry DTEK60 has a result of 140,000 points. I don't know what that means, but the BlackBerry Priv only had a count of around 55,000 points. So that is a big difference. It's almost 3 times the number that the BlackBerry Priv has on the DTEK60. So that seems like this phone is much faster. But in everyday usage, again, you don't notice a lot of it. However, the BlackBerry Priv stutters sometimes, and if it has to run some very heavy apps, it gets warm to the touch, while the BlackBerry DTEK60 stays cool. Also, in side-by-side comparison, the apps sometimes open a tad quicker on the BlackBerry DTEK60. But I guess if you want to game on your phone, then the DTEK60 might be the better choice, because as you saw also on the Geekbench video footage, The 3D animation was very laggy on the BlackBerry Priv, while it was extremely smooth on the DTEK60. So let's continue with the cameras. The BlackBerry Priv uses an 80 megapixel Schneider-Kreuznach camera with an aperture of f2.2, which is very nice. The results are pretty decent. And the BlackBerry DTEK60 uses a 21 megapixel camera with a f2.0 aperture. So it's slightly better in low light, but I didn't really test that out. I only tested it out in bright sunlight. And now you can see all the pictures, so you can decide on your own which picture quality and picture style you like better. Both phones shoot video in 4K and 30 frames per second, as well as 1080p at 60 frames per second. But the BlackBerry Priv offers optical image stabilization, which the DTEK60 doesn't have. Let's get to the speakers of the phones. The BlackBerry Priv has a front-facing speaker which is mono. It's not that whole grill that you can see on the phone. It's only on the bottom left corner of the phone, so it's only mono. The DTEK60 has stereo speakers which are front and rear facing, because the speaker holes are drilled to face on the front and the rear. And that is good if you have the phone facing towards you, just like with the Priv, but also if you have it laying on the table, you still get nice audio quality, and I really appreciate that with the DTEK60. Also, in my opinion, the sound quality is slightly better on the DTEK60 than it is on the BlackBerry Priv. So let's continue with the battery. The BlackBerry DTEK60 uses a 3000 mAh battery, while the DTEK60 uses a 3410 mAh battery, which is slightly better. However, in real life usage, I didn't notice a big difference between them. When I go to bed, I get about 10% on both phones, sometimes a bit less. I'm a mid to heavy user, so if you are one of those as well and you don't game a lot, then I think you will easily be able to push through a day with both phones. Both phones offer the quick charging compatibility. The Priv comes with Quick Charge 2.0, which means you get 60% in 30 minutes of charging time, while the BlackBerry DTEK60 has Quick Charge 3.0, which means you get 83% in 30 minutes. A problem though is that the phones don't come shipped with a quick charger for your outlet, which is kind of sad, but it would have been a perfect thing to include in the box. But if you're interested in quick charge, you have to buy one on your own. The next part will be the software. Both phones come with Android 6.0 Marshmallow with a BlackBerry OS overlay, so you get special features like the BlackBerry Hub, which summarizes all your notifications in one spot, so you can easily and quickly see what notifications you have. And if you accidentally swiped off a notification, you don't have to go through every app and search for that notification that you thought was interesting or important, but you can't find it anymore. So the BlackBerry Hub is great for that as well. You can easily create messages from within the hub on that Android software overlay. You also get things like the BlackBerry Calendar or DTEK by BlackBerry, which monitors your security level, because both phones have a special kernel which secures your phone, which makes these phones one of the most secure, if not the most secure Android phones out on the market. So DTEK by BlackBerry shows you how secure your phone is if you have different security settings enabled. And you can also see very quickly which app uses which feature, like if it accesses your location, if it accesses your microphone or camera without you knowing, and you can also see how many times those things were accessed. So it's very nice if you're concerned about your security levels, and you get that with both phones. You also get the productivity edge as well as other nice BlackBerry features. So as I said, the BlackBerry Priv has some stutters sometimes, and it gets warm to the touch if you have very heavy apps open, which isn't as much on the BlackBerry Priv. The DTEK60, which just, in my opinion, runs a bit smoother in general usage. And of course you have the BlackBerry Priv's keyboard, which is touch sensitive. You can scroll through web pages, through your home screen, quickly edit text and swipe up recommendations for spelling mistakes. So it's a nice thing to include on an Android device. However, I don't really like the keyboard of the BlackBerry Priv because it's very shallow and it's not very clicky. It's pretty mushy, and the keys on the BlackBerry Classic or Passport just are miles better, and I really prefer those. So if I'd buy a physical keyboard device, it would be a BlackBerry 10 device, and if I really needed a physical keyboard device on Android, you should go for the BlackBerry Priv or wait for the upcoming physical keyboard device that BlackBerry will most likely release in the beginning or mid 2017, so maybe you should wait for that one. So which phone should you buy? I think the price is a very important thing to consider. when buying phones, of course. And in Germany, the prices for the BlackBerry Priv are 525 euros, and for the DTEK60, the price is 570 euros. That are that much US dollars if you're interested. And the BlackBerry Priv in the US is $459 on Amazon, while I saw it for $399 sometimes, and the BlackBerry DTEK60 is $499 in America. And I think that is a very nice price point. So if I had to choose, I think there isn't much difference in the price between the two phones, but there is a big difference in build quality and overall performance. And I think personally, even though it doesn't carry the traditional BlackBerry design language, I would go with the BlackBerry DTEK60. I think the overall build quality and performance just is a bit better than it is on the BlackBerry Priv, and I wouldn't mind paying like 50 euros more for the DTEK60 for what I get. So that is my opinion. Leave a comment in the comment section below which one you would buy and why you'd buy it. Also make sure to like the video if you liked it, and make sure to subscribe to my channel to stay updated with the newest videos about BlackBerry and other things. Make sure you follow me on all my social medias, Instagram and Twitter, which you can see right now, and my BlackBerry Messenger channel pin is in the description box below. So see you in my next video. Until then, bye. I really want to thank glove.co.uk for sending me a review unit of the DTEK60. If it wasn't for them and their kindness, I wouldn't be able to shoot so many videos about it. So if you're interested in buying the DTEK60 or any Android or Apple device, then head over to glove.co.uk and check out their awesome deals and offers.